bloodbath happening over there. But I do know.
Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new stream.
At least if they do take the
So
early fight here, Inner Circle will have the full squad.
let's go.
Ready to fight in the first minute or two of this game.
All right, well, I'm also going to keep my eye on Stadium. I know D Plus and OG are going to be there. Let's get game number 1 started and send it on over to Blank and John Allen to get this going.
All right, let's head into it. Rondo back in with the recall beacons. Blank group green here, and the stakes are higher. No 7th place bubble to be seen. We're looking to the top 3 now.
Stream karo.
Is a tough
No, no,
approach for
come on.
the squads going forward, John. I mean, top 3 is
71.
easy. I mean, top 7 was only quite tough for a fair
Let's
few
go, guys.
teams, only just making it in those final moments of the gauntlet. But top 3, yeah, it's a rough margin to make. But we are also introducing goodbye limits, right? You do not want to be towards the bottom of the lobby, because now it does actually matter. It does matter again. You will be going home after that, so we're starting to cut down on the competition before we head over towards grand finals in Thailand.
भाई चलो OG, come on. इस बार OG का मुझे देखना है भाई भाई. OG से बहुत उम्मीद है.
Oh, it's going to be nasty. Or rather next week, I suppose. But the weeks will sort of blur into one because
Let's go, OG.
just keep going here. First one drops on Rondo Blank. That is going to be interesting to see which teams are going to go for that hotter approach, that more elimination-heavy approach early on in these matches. And it looks like we may have a few. I'm looking at Reject specifically. I can see Apollo there all the way down towards Rinjian. The rest of them, they're sat on top. And you can see we're on board with them as well, all the way up to the north.
And you got to play it setting out wide as per usual. Play the 3-1 split. Get the recall beacon off early if you do lose that engagement. We get a south shift on the circle. It's quite nice with Rondo so far. We had that horrible circle right at the beginning of the tournament over towards the water. Since then, we've practically had a very, very different circle every single time that we've seen Rondo, which is great to see. This time we're down towards Chuan.
मुझे OG के सपोर्टर का फटाफट आ रहा है.
On our screens.
Okay.
Team that has had a tumultuous pass so far. Moving in immediately to get the first knock of Group Green.
Inner Circle looking to try and take the fight, take the win there. Looks like Falcons not having a good time though.
Guys, ये group stage होने वाला है.
Redox on the inside there. Do have an off angle across the way, and yeah, and immediately looking for the Falcons to just get out of there, get away. Novello I don't think that they have too many more players to play around with. I believe the graphic on the right hand side hasn't fully updated on the Falcons player count, because there's certainly a few of them who have gone down. Redox, I mean, he's trying to get out.
Nice.
Get around the corners, maybe the player IQ steps out though. That's great dance there. Good.
AC वाले बहुत ही बुरा खेलते हैं.
Points added to eliminations for Inner Circle.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. For Inner Circle, it's a massively promising team. I think they have a huge amount of fans on board as well. And rightly so, because they're a very, very strong squad when it comes down to it. Falak, who has continued to be one of the most promising players of the year so far, isn't feeling at his greatest today outside the game. But in-game, he's still going to be playing on. Luckily, you've got the likes of IQ, T24, Noki, who are all significantly strong players, so this team doesn't rely on just the one. It's great to see. OG starting things off over towards Reject, getting an initial knock.
Under control. Oh, looks like OG got themselves in trouble.
चल क्या बात है भाई, क्या बात.
I think it might be. APG looking to try and hunt them down. Wait a minute, did they get the recalls? They must have done, because Koa went down earlier.
भाई OG की फाइट दिखाओ ना गाइस. भाई OG ने जस्ट मारा पता है अभी.
Okay, Kamikaze with some clean shots over towards Dog, knocks him out the vehicle. 3 guys in one isn't always the best idea.
और उनके सामने है एक बंदा. So nice. भाई खत्म होने वाली है, खत्म होने वाली है.
Luckily, Kamikaze's on a gross off.
Nice 1v2.
To start this, oh goodness me, Papa Supermassive.
सारे revive हो गए.
An insane group stage for themselves. They faltered over in their finals, but still looking.
सारे revive हो गए, सारे revive हो गए but.
Absolutely, it's good to see. A little bit of power coming through, because at the moment Falcons not really.
और क्या नेट था भाई, OP नेट.
Novello down, and that is brilliant news for Inner Circle. They are running rings around the Falcons. A brilliant start to our
Great start. Not a brilliant, it's a great start.
on board.
पूरे 3 point.
T24 on the rooftops, doing so much for them.
T24.
Things under control near Neox factory.
सबने एक क्रेट लिया गाइस, सबके एक किल है, देख रहे हो?
I don't know how Falcons aren't dead, by the way. They've still got one player, but I swear they've taken about 7 elims just in that team alone. It's fairly amusing.
Come on OG, come on. OG के भी 2 किल था गाइस. 2 किल हमारे OG के पास भी है. So let's go.
OG came off from a good fight between them and Reject, but Reject were able to reset, reevaluate, get 4 players back up again with those recall beacons, but it's too...
पता है रोंडो में ना एक स्ट्रेटजी करनी चाहिए कि सब डबलिंग पे हो, बट लेकिन इसमें दिक्कत भी है बहुत.
It's good news, but of course it's 3 points in first place right now. That will change by the end of it. It's guaranteed that someone will get... Come on
OG, come on OG. OG से उम्मीद है गाइस इस बार.
Up to 10 points.
Nice.
Haven't seen so far.
ठीक है.
Entrant here. Fine, but crashing on the north side still. Oh, it's going to be loops.
Knock है ये भी.
What?
बंदे quick angles. Double quick.
Doing so much work for Papa Supermassive right now.
Seriously भाई.
They've got 3 points and he's keeping his team safe as well. They've got to be so grateful that he's on side and on form today.
एकदम instant angle बनाता है भाई ये Pmgc. बहुत क्विक बंदा है भाई, बहुत क्विक.
Response time from the rest of the squad is so slick. I think that
Pmgc अच्छा प्लेयर है भाई, बहुत अच्छा प्लेयर है, लिटरली अच्छा प्लेयर.
You find one knock, you're very prepared to immediately duck into cover because they're so quick to accurately pinpoint where you are and what angles you're playing. So I think that's where Papa Supermassive definitely finds their strengths, is that you can never really
18 मैचेस होंगे गाइस और 18 मैचेस में से इनको टॉप 8 आना है आई गेस, क्योंकि टॉप 8 ऑलरेडी फाइनल्स में है, सो इसमें टॉप 8 आना है. कम ऑन ओजी, कम ऑन. मे बी 3 डेज का ये इवेंट होगा.
Identify weak points in that armor that they can try and exploit, so we'll see if that continues. Of course, it is still just match 1 and we're only 7 minutes into it, Blank, so very much still an uncertain lobby at this stage. Teams are losing players, but these recalls can come through as well, so it's really not the end of the world at the moment, but they will start to shrink down those opportunities. The recall beacons disabling. They've still got a while left, Blank, but it's going to be a little bit of a stressor maybe for teams as we move into stage 2, stage 3. That's where they get very few in the circle in good positions to go for those recall beacons.
You got there in the end. That's what
I did, yeah.
And I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it happens.
I think when you look at loops, right, actually some pretty big names overall, which have been around for a long time. I quite like the loops roster. Your Ratto boy, Vitin, Rafina, Nielzada, a lot of players that played in amongst the rank and file of South America's, but overall I think that they've all leveled up a lot over the years, and this is a team that I'm quite excited to see play on the big stage. APG still roaming. They got a nice central start, able to shove Papa Supermassive off from their position, but with this circle that shifts over towards Danqing, I think APG was very glad they got in vehicles when they did. They started rotating out towards the east anyway, so they're already getting a move on in with the migration, so they may as well have been just on the west side of the circle as it popped. So I think that's a little bit lucky from APG, where they just randomly start rotating off towards that eastern side, but it's definitely beneficial for their future.
It's going to work out for them for the time being. GS, saw them a lot.
गिरा बीस. अरे यार, गिराना चाहिए था भाई.
Have a chance here. Wizgod not quite able to connect for Orangutan. On their spray down, Orangutan currently playing on that southwest side. They do have a decent chunk of the ground in this circle, Blank, but
अगर गिरा देता ना भाई मजा आ जाती. गिराना चाहिए था.
Is that split going to hold out from that south edge? Because you've got Reject moving in. You've got plenty of others. You've got Gen G as well out to the west side of them. Actually, might take one another on. Rejects maybe spotted there. Oh, they're definitely.
गिरा मार ओची, come on. गिरा भाई, गिरा. सारा को गिरा.
Difficult to move.
शिट
to make it safe.
गिराना चाहिए था रे ये
Yeah, I think for
किल चले गया
OG,
फ्री किल था
especially on that final day, although they didn't make it into top 7, there was definitely a change of pace for them, in which case they were trying to take a lot more fights. And albeit they were losing those fights, but I was glad they were doing it because I think they've all realised now that that 6 to 7 point strategy isn't going to cut it when it comes to top 3. So they're getting ahead of the problem early, trying to engage in more fights. And
बट एटलीस्ट तुम्हें पता है गाइस ओजी ने जितनी अपनी टीम्स कही है मतलब बाहर खेलने के लिए सबसे बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दिया है भाई
And genuinely,
सबसे
this
बेस्ट
is the best. I think it's the best Indian team we've seen in a while.
करेक्ट
I think that there has been
एकदम
times
करेक्ट
where
एकदम
India
करेक्ट
has played and
एकदम
they've given
करेक्ट
it their all, but this time it feels like OG actually does belong within the international format, which is great to see. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they do realize they need a little bit more aggression. I think the change happened when Kara chased them down as a 2-man and they were leading as the 4 and then they lost to the 2. I think at that point they probably looked back on that and was like, yeah, that
काम
can't
करने की
happen
बहुत
again.
जरूरत है ओजी को बट सीरियसली भाई वो अपनी इंडियन टीम है सो सल्यूट टू ओजी
They're not looking at the 6 or 7s. It does push up. I mean, if you look at what happened in the gauntlet stage with 16 teams, third place was 141 points, which puts you at around a 7.8 average. So if you're getting 8 points a game, that's where you need to be sat. And bumping yourself up by a single point average is actually a very difficult task to be on the cards for you. So we'll see what teams can do here. Circle just about to shut down. That's not going to be nice on the south side.
ओजी के पास अच्छा सर्कल है ओजी सर्कल में नाइस भाई केट कीप करो भाई बहुत किल्स मिलेंगे जोन के बाहर से कम ऑन भाई ओजी
The Molotovs flying. Oh, there's a little bit of an answer here.
Okay.
Maybe there's a chance.
आरसी वर्सेस आरबीजी क्या मारा है इसने
Reject actually now
अपोलो ने
the hold on the inside may be good, but Polygo now has to stand up. The last player alive.
अपोलो वर्सेस
And he
कॉल
is now into a 1 versus 1. This is dangerous. Reject looked like they had it in hand, but now it's all topsy-turvy. Apollo with the nade cooking around the side.
रख दिया अपोलो ने
And the nade
मुझे लगा रख दिया जब इसने वो गन पीछे रख के लेफ्ट से रश करने को देखा ना
a
रख
brilliant
दिया
result for them. The Japanese squad will not make it further in Rondo.
I mean, that was a big test for Apollo. Practically all the big names on the team had gone down at that point, and not being able to finish off the job there. I think it's a lot of pressure on him in that scenario. Still, Colorado is a incredibly good player, has been for many, many years. So, kind of understandable he's able to hit the old swinging DBS shot. His alter ego.
मानना चाहिए था बे अपोलो को अपोलो ने करना चाहिए था
I would say from Indonesia. I think that when I was looking through the player list, it's actually one of the teams that I looked at and was like, that's kind of a stacked roster. And again, I do think everyone talks about Rosemary on that squad, Crypto.
रोशमरी
I genuinely think their best player is Alva. A lot of people probably disagree with me on that fact, but I do think their best player is Alva. Overall, his off-angle scouting, the value he brings to the team. I think it's more than what Rosemary brings. I think Rosemary is flashy. I don't think he's the best player on the squad.
क्या जगह मिल गई भाई ने
Okay, well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. See if those flashy players could earn more points, or if Alva's
औरंगटन के सामने बंदे
basics are going to be more important to the alter ego.
औरंगटन वर्सेस गोट की लड़ाई होने वाली है शायद से
Like Goat have moved in. They've moved in.
और यहाँ पे सिर्फ दो ही बंदे हैं
The compound that OG hold. OG still as 4 on a 2-2 split. You can see they've got the 2 players down there, AKOP and a Tanky on the low ground in the buildings, and then up top they've got their other 2, WizGod and
ये कैसा स्प्लिट लिया भाई अरुण ने
finding the angles. Trying to keep that one secure with APG to the north side. The hilltop looking fairly solid.
दो बंदे ऊपर खेल रहे हैं और दो बंदे
From the
नीचे
north side, the blue zone is upon them, and it is getting to be a little bit more than a tickle. And they'll have to move a little bit faster, but there's not too many open spaces ahead of them. This wide flank may be needed to go to the west and challenge for a hilltop. Oh, it's dangerous on the approach here. A lot of open ground.
That being said, the fact the Falcons have 3 players is so impressive, no?
भाई चढ़ा रहा है भाई लौंडा ऊपर गाड़ी
And they might just cut themselves a slice on this northeast side, which seems to be the case here. And they're just swinging straight through. and might even get a central spot at the back of it.
ओजी पे जोन है
I don't think it's going to
आरू
be
और
super
विस्कॉर
safe
पे
there. You can see they have to hit down in the dip there, around that roadside. A lot of hills with oversight, but they have a building to play with, Blank. It might not be much, but it's for the Falcons for the time being, and maybe until the end of their match here. That said, after winning against Reject, got that recall on the south side, and now they're careening on through. This is a challenge towards APG's position. They will have to fight someone in that area, whether it's APG or if it's DK up to the top.
I mean, 9ZG will just send it through.
क्या रोटेशन ले रही है
He's not really taking too many shots. They swing
भाई क्या जगह है ये भाई ये होल्ड करने के लिए
angles.
अच्छी जगह है गाइस
There, but Azul is actually able to pick Rays out of.
बढ़िया जगह मिल गई बढ़िया जगह मिल गई RZG को अच्छी जगह मिल गई भाई सच में मारेगा वो
Reyes down on the outside against APG's firing squad. They have turned all their attention up north. I think there's shots coming in through from OG as well across the way. You can see that on the mini-map. Everybody wants a piece. The Wolves are crashing into D+ as well. In the meantime, they've pushed up from the south.
Wolves versus DK.
To the east. So the Wolves committing here. I mean, it's an interesting choice, but they want to clear out this threat.
DK rush कर रही है
Moving out east. Nolbu repositioning far off to the north.
जिसका एक नॉक निकला वुल्फ तो पुश नहीं करेगी बट डीके का डीके एक नॉक निकाल दिया तो गेम खत्म वुल्फ का एक बंदा फुल एंगल बना रहा है स्मोक है भाई उसके हाथ में
Now looking to send it slightly further here. You have the lineup versus the Wolves.
जब एक फटेगा या ओपनिंग आएगी तब जाके कुछ होगा अच्छा एक नॉक दिया जन से नहीं 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 क्या भाई नोलबू ने क्या आ गए बत्ती के नौसल ने कवर दिया ओ भाई वुल्फ ने क्या गेम निकाल दिया वे लास्ट वन
for the South Korean squad. In the meantime, with the blue zones there, he's running rings around them, but he just has to get out. There's no time. Needs to heal. What can he do? The blue
signal backpack है signal backpack ने बचा लिया
anything to do here, as the Wolves might just be able to come out victorious.
सिर्फ signal backpack ने बचाया guys.
Still able to get their first aid kit off.
No, that's a signal backpack.
Taking shots over towards GS. Nade through the top window might be the play here. No, instead he goes
खत्म हो गया.
off to the side. Full push out from him will pay off. Last grenade now for Osal versus he got.
Oh, zone से मर गया.
Is it hit? Oh, that's good.
Zone से मर गया.
The blue zone will finish the job for him.
Sorry, yeah, he doesn't get the point on that one. With that blue zone final tick down, Alter Ego crashing in, trying to move in towards Team Secret, but they are being rebuffed immediately. Finally, the answer, an opener found for Alter Ego.
Come on, OG, बढ़िया.
They're gonna have to shift.
मार साले को मार.
It is a deadly fight here. Papara Supermassive might chime in as third party. In fact, they do. They've already found the shot over towards Team Secret, and the rest of the way, it's all up to him. Needs to pick his teammates up. He's definitely going to
स्क्वाड को तो बाहर कर दिया.
be the main component of the team for now, but Papara Supermassive want to slow them down. The nades are coming in. Like, there's no time.
एक अच्छा ग्रेनेड ना गेम ही खत्म हो जाएगा एल्वा का.
Is terrible like it is from Lost, then maybe he's able to get out there. Snake's able to get
एक किल आया.
Krypton likely to be flushed out at this point in time. Alva needs to provide some sort of assistance in this moment. Rosemary will hit the deck once again off a stray grenade, and Kamikaze starts to push upwards. A smoke goes down to try and keep the team under wraps. Alva has a lot to do.
Nice. खत्म हो जाएगी फिर शायद.
Still alive, just about on the last lifeline here as the flushes are coming through on his teammates. He steps up.
वो सोचिए 1v2 कर दिया तो. बाप रे. और well played भाई, well played. Well played.
But finally the snap shut of the trap is good.
Well played.
I think Lost was as confused as we were.
एक सेकंड लगा था कि वो 1v2 कर देगा भाई.
His way out from the smoke. I think it just basically begging for mercy at that point. Yeah, rough. but still able to finish off Team Secret. Unfortunate for.
देखो भाई अगर OG ने ये गेम निकाल लिया ना मजा आ जाएगी भाई.
Teams rotating in from that north side, able to get a lot done. But it will be now.
Nice.
The boys from Papyrus.
Sexy grenade. Same nades on. Same nades on. Same nades on.
Does go down for it. He's some very long nades as well.
Alright, nice. Last one. Come on. भाई क्या नेट्स थे भाई ये. दाल 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 और दाल और दाल. Nice नेट. एक और दाल. एक और दाल. नहीं अच्छा नेट दाल.
Might have found something, but the bounce just a little bit short. Still 2 players for GOAT to try and stay alive. I don't know if they can even.
चलिए नेट देखते हैं. अच्छा नेट होना चाहिए. अच्छा नेट होना चाहिए. अरे शिट. इतना क्लोज था भाई वो ने. चल नाइस बीस गोल मार साले को मार. पूरा मार पूरा मार. छोड़ लिया भाई.
Aking's able to find the last player there from GS.
रे.
OG having
2 नॉक दिए थे वे.
They are making quite a few enemies.
क्या सेक्सी नेट थे ये.
We'll have to descend from here soon. But again, I think they've done enough in terms of casualties around the map that there's only a few sightlines looking over towards them, depending on how many smokes or vehicles they have to work with. Could be quite a swift push.
2 बंदे बैठे इसके पीछे. एक बढ़िया नेट ना गाइस. गेम ही खत्म दोनों. तो ये क्या मार दिया. ओके. OG को ये भाई बहुत तगड़ा सर्कल है भाई. चिकन होना चाहिए ये मैच. कम ऑन OG कम ऑन. चिकन चाहिए भाई. एक अच्छा ग्रेनेड गेम ही खत्म हो जाएगा. एक अच्छा ग्रेनेड भाई. मार 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 गाइस. 1v2. ओह ब्रो काजी ने 7 किल कर दिए भाई. ये बंदे ने अपनी टीम को कितनी बार बचा लिया है. 13 किल्स.
13 of them to start the day. Good.
अच्छा खेली भाई ये टीम.
This is like not even their best match. Rondo's kind of play it really slow. I think they're one of the few teams that doesn't go for the 3-1 strat. Either they ball man and they just play it slow towards the end game and just much prefer to like sweep third party tactic. I really like it. I think the 3-1 strategy worked well.
Nice, nice, nice. इसको मार. knock them. दे knock दे. क्या गए भाई. नहीं. Shit.
There's a shot that comes back though. There's plenty of off angles taking a look out this way. They didn't have enough pressure to keep this spray going. They will though to slow GOATs down. That may be looking for. Maybe not the elims just yet.
भाई पुश कर रहे भाई. ओपन से पुश कर रहा है लौंडा. हे बग. क्या चोक किया है बे. क्या चोक कर रहे हो भाई.
Yeah, that's rough. There is some horrible angles on that. The fellow goal was winning that fight versus OG as well. The third party does come through though and will put an end to that. Papyrus Massive may have finally met their match here. They've going from fight to fight. Now it's 9ZG. Kamikaze's down, as is Tron. He's lost life here. He's getting shot from multiple angles. Papyrus Massive will go down in 6.
Eliminate हो गई भाई. 9 इनके पास भी 12 finishes है. नॉक निकाला.
Have inner circle 12 elims found for 9Z and in inner circle they got 10 already. They've been able to pick up so many of these points blank. It's really these 3 teams and nobody else that have been able to do the majority of the damage to the lobby so far. It's really beautiful to see.
आराम से खेलो जी. आराम से खेलो. अभी भी 3 मैन चिकन निकाल सकते हैं. सिर्फ ABG को छोड़ के और IC को छोड़ के किसी के पास 3 मैच 4 मैच होंगे.
This is where I do get concerned slightly for OG and we've seen them falter on these
अपने लॉन्डो ने नॉक बहुत निकाला. किल्स नहीं मिले बट अब क्या कर सकते हैं भाई. उनकी भी क्या गलती है. कम ऑन OG. एक
They
दो
wanna
तीन
sweep down
चार
towards that
5
south
teams.
side, to that north side, sorry, because right now, like, the options are limited, and they're hoping for a south shift.
Nice.
I think they need to think about what they can do next. I mean, here, for instance, with Doc playing
सीधा
from
rush
the
करना चाहिए.
distance, this is typically where you go for the Hail Mary. But I think they're just going to go for a top 3 off the back of this one.
3v3 की एक फाइट है गाइस उनके लेफ्ट में.
OG playing as 3 need to press that watch line.
सब glitches है.
Might have to move first here. On a slightly faster side of the circle, they're all very, very close to it. There's only APG inside this one.
ओ भाई ड्रॉप निकाला वहाँ पे.
Oh, they have been spotted if APG to take
Nice.
out that way. OG have angles as well. There's the flash coming through. That's for Aru.
क्या चोरा है किल.
To the OG
Very
team.
good.
Denied
Good
that point there. Nicely found.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are just going to go for the top 3 off the back of it. They are going to send one downwards in Aru, but sight lines are clear there coming through from top. Won't quite find the knock though. Nade's going to have to do the trick. Does find it with IQ in a circle.
नॉक हो गया डॉग भी पीछे से.
Molotov. That is not where you want to be putting an aid there, but Doc does go down. The Molotov is good for it. A little under, I'm sure, but it's not going to be able to find that knock on the second player here for 9Z. Dashes across and actually gets to safety behind the shack. He's going out into the open. This is a Hail Mary if I ever saw one. He's just hoping nobody's looking. Because actually, in a circle, it's moved over to OG. Doc, right now, he's no way is he going to be able to do it. As in a circle, take on the forefront position for OG, but they only find the flush. They will not find a second.
क्या गए भाई. नहीं.
Take them down from the top rope, but no, the answer is good. The spray down is there, and APG they do lose Doc finally as he will not make that crawl. 9Z have descended. Goodness me, it's chaos on all fronts.
शी बे.
Very near the top towards WizGod, so OG do get themselves top 4 off the back one. Not quite as top
नहीं बे,
three,
नहीं,
but
नहीं.
there from that position. But still a pretty decent start to the first game of the day. In a circle though, as 4 players been a little bit more silent and deadly this game. Now looking to take on APG with just the 3.
Oh,
They've
baby.
got a very aggressive angle, let's say, and an even more aggressive crawl. I think he's the only player that could make a crawl look aggressive. And circle shifts over towards the west. So there is now
नहीं यार.
difficulty here for IC.
Shut
You've
up.
got the 4 players on board.
Shit.
They're pushing out into open ground. You've got 9ZG who know where they are. You've got APG who know where they are. And let's also just mention the fact that APG is in a top 3 scenario, by the way, which feels weird.
Is yeah, a little bit foreign, a little bit alien to us at the moment. But in a circle,
हट यार. नहीं. ओजी से ये उम्मीद नहीं थी गाइस. कर सकती थी ये चीज. हट.
coming through from inner circle. APG on a measly 6 right now. Comparatively weak for the moment. Small little increment.
क्या लगता है गाइस कौन चिकन निकालेगा. स्टिल अभी टॉप 3 टीम्स है. 9ZG निकालेगी मेरे को लग रहा है. मेरे को लग रहा है ये 2 भी करने वाले भाई. आईसी के पास 4 प्लेयर्स
And
हैं.
he's not feeling his best either, and still at this level, it's fairly incredible.
अभी तो जिसके पास जोन गया ना वही चिकन निकालने वाला है गाइस.
Path into this game either.
बट आईसी और एपीजी के पास गन पावर है. गन पावर नहीं मैन पावर है. सो हो सकता है. देखते हैं.
You do have APGs also watching these angles, so if they find anything, again,
दोनों ने
vehicles.
9ZG के ऊपर एम रख के रखा है.
This actually is not a bad map to make for yourself. You've got
तो पूरा ध्यान इनका इन पे ही है. सो कुछ भी हो सकता है.
A lobby like this is very unlikely.
ध्यान इनका इन पे ही है.
And you hope that they realise that the zone next will close completely central blank, and it really doesn't favour anyone. I mean, the only team on an outside position at the moment are in a circle, so maybe that will help them out. APG, I mean, they need to get out of there as well, but they do have vehicles potentially stowed away in and amongst those buildings that they could hop into. The nades there starting to fly.
नाइस.
Going long, quite on target.
मेरे को लग रहा है
He's setting up craters. I think that's all they can do.
सीधा स्लैम आएगा भाई.
It's a smart play, especially here on Rondo with the destructible terrain. That's what they're going to go for. Okay.
At the moment, though, that smoke train, those huge number of smokes, I think that's 10
राइट साइड से
smokes
पूरा ओपन से आ रहे वो
by
लोग
APG to be able to stretch out wide, move that vehicle a
राइट
bit
स्किन से
towards
उठाने को
the
ट्राई कर रहे हैं
first knock onto Noki is good, but it's now 9Z who are eating the majority of lead right now as they crawl on forward.
एपीजी का ही
They don't
चिका
have
लेते
anywhere to
इसको
go. They are probably in the worst position. A downhill
उफ
approach
क्या
out
लेट था ये
of a building. It's a tough time.
अब
Noki
सही
is
लेट
there.
है
You can't stand up. You just can't go
क्या
forward.
लेट था गलत है भाई ये
Over the top from APG. They have
अच्छा
got
ठीक
3
है
more
ठीक है ठीक है
remaining. One's already in the sky.
Just Falak in
नहीं
T24 now. Falak's going to make the big cross.
2v2
T24 holds his angle. Now into a 2v2 here for APG versus IC.
ये नेड़ा अच्छा है
Snake loose for top. I think
ओह
it's in the pocket potentially.
गुड
Maybe they got one more. No, that is it.
नाइस
This connects. And
टॉप वर्सेस फ्लैट
stops them from getting any more. But Falak with an answer. He's standing tall and now top behind a tree.
चलो 1v1 फाइट कम ऑन
Here on the circle. Needs to stay.
अरे क्या कर रहा है
On his
अरे
team now more than ever. Top stands up and the challenge is good. It is Falak to be able to fell the final beast in their way. APG will not get it. It is in a
क्या बंदा है भाई
standing
क्या
strong.
भाई
Craters on the ground, and what a meteoric entrance from IC during this game. They had very limited options, but worked with what they had. The nades out front to get the craters to hold on for just a little while longer. Those nades were insane, and the fact that Falix to finish it off there, I mean, imagine what this guy is like on his good days.
Absolutely insane. I could just be what a close down on the day. Sorry, close down the game rather. A lot of flashy plays throughout the majority of that match as well. Black Papa Supermassive doing big stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Papa Supermassive get themselves a bunch of Elim points. APG actually towards the top 3, which is quite nice to see, getting the second place. Hopefully, a little more of that, please. But in the meantime, I'm going to hear what the guys in the desk had to say about that game.
भाई देखो ये जो था भाई अभी मेरे हिसाब से इन्होंने क्या खेला भाई क्या बोलना है पहला मैच तो अपनी टीम ने गलती हो गया भाई हाँ गाइस एक मिनट मैं आ रहा हूँ ऑनलाइन वापस। कुछ नहीं कर सकते गाइस, पहला मैच तो हो गया। सो वेट करो अभी भाई, कुछ नहीं कर सकते। बहुत ही खतरनाक खेली है अपनी टीम्स, बट उम्मीद तो थी कि और अच्छा खेलेगी, बट अभी हो गया यार। आईसी ने अच्छा खेला, अच्छा एक कहाँ नॉक को फिनिश कर रहा है भाई। एक एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर से तो ये उम्मीद नहीं थी, बट क्या बोलना, छोड़ो। क्या बोलना भाई, मतलब नॉक को मार रहा है हमारा भाई। मेरे को समझा नहीं भाई वो क्या किया उसने, कहते नॉक को मार के।
Right.
7 4
Say,
5
say that
2
again. Just say how excited you are. Do it.
Yes.
I'm very excited. I love them. Yay! I don't know if you can hear me.
Thank you.
The
Good
Max
job.
Man
That was
impression,
perfect.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I think everybody's busting out a Max Man impression right now because they are so excited that you did not pick this team because they're doing so good, Max.
You know what? I'm never going to pick Inner Circle ever again. They have a start like this, a game like this, beautiful. But the thing is, we're talking about Falloc. Look at the stats across the board. T25, 4 eliminations, almost 1,000 damage. IQ, the IGL of the team, gets 5 elims, almost 600 damage done. And look at especially how much damage they took right, Niptura. Everyone took a beating, but they just kept coming back stronger and stronger and stronger. And especially those rotations on the eastern side, sweeping all of those eastern teams were a thing of absolute beauty this match. Loved it from start to finish.
It was so nice, and what I love as well is how methodical it was. They didn't rush around, go crazy, just get all the third parties. They really took their time and they paced themselves. They read the lobby, they understood who was where, what was going on, and they were really able to get the perfect timing based off that. So love how they've come in here. They're looking very relaxed. They look like, you know, they know
come
what
on
they're
यार
doing.
OG,
They're not really thinking
उम्मीद है
they're,
भाई
you know,
OG से
newcomers anymore. They've been
ज़्यादा
here,
से ज़्यादा
they've been doing so well all season. And now it's like, yeah, we're here, we're ready,
कुछ नहीं
we're
था।
ready to own the lobby, and
कम
that's
ऑन
exactly what they
अभी
did.
भी मैचेस खत्म नहीं है गाइस, बहुत मैचेस बचे, अभी 5 मैचेस और बचे। सो आई होप सो कि ओजी उसमें से निकाले भाई, क्योंकि पहले मैच में कितने 5 किल थे ना, 5 किल और #4 पे मरे। आज #4 पे मरे तो कितने पॉइंट है बताओ, 9 पॉइंट। तो पहले गेम में इन्होंने 9 पॉइंट निकाले और 9 XZY उसने 13 किल, दोनों के 13 किल। आईसी वालों के ज़्यादा किल्स नहीं, इनके भी ज़्यादा किल्स थे भाई, ये भी अच्छे खासे किल। तो अपन मेरे हिसाब से अपन लोग #5 में तो रहने चाहिए, 5-4 पे, 5-4 पे तो होंगे। इजी होंगे 5-4 पे तो होंगे, इजी होंगे, एकदम इजी 5 या 4। बट देखते हैं अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है। सो
Unbelievable star. You know, another team.
To them, and when you're in a compound for APG, you know those
But,
standings are pretty limited. You're only limited by what the building can give.
बट सच बताओ ना, ओजी के पास एक अच्छा एंगल था। उन्होंने एक फाइट चोक करी, जबकि उनके वहाँ पर 5 किल्स थे, और उसके बाद अगर वो वाली फाइट वो निकाल देते उन टीम के साथ, तो वो शायद उनके 9 किल्स के आसपास होते। 9 किल्स प्लस और 2-3 के लिए एंड सर्कल में उठा लेते तो 10-11 किल्स तो हो जाते कहीं ना कहीं। बट क्या बोलना, हो गया, अभी चोक हो गया ओजी से, कुछ नहीं कर सकते। बट एज अ इंडियन टीम भाई, #3 में भी अपनी टीम को लेके आना, वो भी सारे डोमिनेटिंग टीम्स के सामने, इज़ अ बिग थिंग। अब ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। आरू द बेस्ट IGL, बट लेट्स फिंगर क्रॉस है भाई कि भाई ओजी और अच्छा खेले, क्योंकि ओजी से सबको उम्मीद है, इवन मुझे भी है। सो लेट्स सी कि क्या करती है ओजी इसके आगे के मैचेस में। जितना मुझे पता है ओजी तो टॉप ही करेगी। नेक्स्ट मैच क्या पता चिकन मार दे। ये मैच कॉन्फिडेंट बिल्ड करने के लिए था और रिमेनिंग मैचेस में ओजी धाम धूम कर दे। ये भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है। लेट्स होप फॉर द बेस्ट। हाँ भाई चिकन निकालो जी, चिकन एक चिकन निकाल दिया ना भाई, मजा आ जाएगी। चाहिए भाई एक चिकन नीडेड है।
They were playing in those fights closely. They were tightly packed. Which is
कितना मिनट है भाई हर मैचेस के बीच में? कितना मिनट है? टावर करो ना स्टार्ट।
Work for them. They were playing a little bit trying to play too smart, and unfortunately in a lobby like this sometimes you just got to shoot people in the face afterwards. And here it's what they did. Very happy with orangutan, and hopefully they can do that in the other maps in particular.
Yeah.
I want to take the conversation here away from orangutan because we kind of said a lot of great things about them, which is really good to do on a rondo in particular. APG here, Niptura, in the center, pretty much phase 2, phase 3. Everyone fighting, shooting over APG, and they're just big chilling the entire time and easily getting into the late game, right?
Right? Yeah, that was such a nice, I think, one of the best games that could have happened to them, right? After such a disastrous gauntlet stage. And I think it's safe to say that because everybody knows it's true. Coming into group stage, into group green, and you're going, it's going to be tough for them. But for them to be able to have such a good game, to rack up quite a few eliminations, they were able to actually have that really good start to the group stage and go, oh, okay, actually, we're doing okay. This is fine. You know, it's not tough from the beginning. They've got something now to work on. They've got a foundation built that they can just start climbing from there. Because, yeah, teamwork was really nice for them. You know, Doc with his nade, we finally saw a Doc nade come through. We were really missing that from him, and so it's really nice to see that maybe now we have just a better spring.
चलो गाइस नेक्स्ट मैच स्टार्ट होने वाला है। कम ऑन चलो ओजी कम ऑन। हो सकता है भाई, अभी भी हो सकता है।
Going to keep going down because that was definitely hurtful. Jafar in particular was just a pain, a thorn in the side of this team. So are they going to commit to it once again? Is the BGS team going to be looking for an option and finally give APG a little bit more breathing space?
I hope they give them breathing space. This is not the time to mess about, guys. You know, Gauntlet, no one was getting eliminated, right? But the stakes are just so much more now in the group stage. You might go home completely.
भाई चलो 17 सेकंड से कितना बोलते हैं भाई ये लोग, सीरियसली चुप हो जाओ यार। थोड़ा सा ओजी को खेलने दो अभी ये वाला मैच। लेट्स गो गाइस। टॉप 3 जो इसमें आएगा गाइस वो सीधा ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए हो जाएगा। कम ऑन यार ओजी कम ऑन, बहुत उम्मीद है भाई तुमसे। मुझे सीधा ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में मिल गए ना ओजी, मन भाई इंडिया के लोग पागल हो जाएंगे भाई, सीधा ग्रैंड फाइनल चले गए।
Points earned for the teams now at the top of the tables, or at least 4 now, because there are plenty more matches left to play. 18 matches total in Group Green. We will be in and on to the second of them right now.
Rondo is always this huge injection of points right at the start of the day. I mean, getting almost 30 points straight away is a massive deal, especially on your first match. Gives you a huge buffer to work with. And with the goal being top 3, getting those 30 points almost immediately is such a massive benefit for you going forward. So I think for Inner Circle,
इतना seductive वे में क्यों बोल रहा है भाई ये?
Result for them. We did get to see some other teams performing extremely well, quite like OG's position on the south side. Their transition didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to, unfortunately for them. Wolves also going down fairly early there, John, which was a little bit unideal. GS heading over towards Savannah. You got APG actually starting in Kameshki right now.
जोन जो बन चुका है वो अपना जॉर्जो पुल साइड का है। I guess drop clash नहीं है किसी के साथ। नहीं, एक 1v1 आ गई है। LV versus Sop lost. First 1v1.
We'll be here soon, don't worry. APG getting 15 points, pretty decent.
वो पीछे भाग रहा है भाई। और गिरा भाई एक को गिरा दिया था लेकिन लॉन्डे ने वेल प्लेड
They were before. It is plenty dangerous. Rosemary, look for the spray downs. We'll be able to find it. Snape in the vehicle over the top. We'll be able to crash on in.
म्यूजिक लूट करके जोन भागना चाहते हैं लोग फटाफट बेस्ट स्ट्रेटजी आराम से भाई
was not the fastest front flip, but was instead just a case of running out of gas. And they got third party so many times. There were quite a few teams over on that north side. The amount of teams who were able to come down was just significant.
देखते हैं अभी कैसे निकालेगी भाई ओजी ये वाले गेम 9 पॉइंट है पहले वाले गेम से बोला था ना मैंने 15 15 18 28 मैंने बोला था ना हैशटैग 4 अभी 5 पे आ गई बे बहुत नीचे गाइस कम ऑन यार ओजी
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time I'm joined by APG Doc. Doc, great start here to Group Green. What was the major change that you guys made from the Gauntlet to Group Green?
За Doc, Group Green тоглолтууд үнэхээр амжилттай эхэлж байна. Танай багийн хувьд Gauntlet stage-с Group Green рүү ямар хутуу өөрчлөлт гаргаж орж ирвэ?
Манай Gauntlet дээр гаргасан алдаануудаа одоо хоорондоо сайн ярилцаад одоо алдаануудаа засаад ингэж орж ирсэн. Алдаануудаа ерөн сайн зассан.
For our team, from the Gauntlet stage, we discussed about the mistakes that happened during that time, and we tried to focus on how to fix that, and that was the change of that.
Hopefully we'll see less drops. One thing we did see in this last match, you guys were given the circle. You were able to take advantage, but I need to go into circle 6 because you guys were doing a 3-1 split and the docketing happening. Sir, you were far away from your squad. Going into circle 7, what made you not want to return back to your squad?
За, саяны тоглолтын дээр танай багийн 6 дугаар тойрог
ऐसा ट्रांसलेट हो रहा है बेचारे के लिए
танай баг руу очиод яагаад багтаага буцаж нийлээгүй вэ?
Ер нь хэрэгтэй байрлал гэж үзсэн. Одоо 3 нэрээ харуулж байгаа
ये
хангалттай бодсон одоо ер нь алдаа болчлоо. Одоо чекэнд чадаагүй тийм л.
From my perspective, I thought it was the advantageous point in that circle, and that's what made me to not want to go back. And I wanted to have my 3-player Overwatch over, and I thought we could come over from that, but it was my mistake from that end.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening. Hopefully less of the docketing happening. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
सही है
Thanks for that little insight there into
कौन बताएगा अपनी स्ट्रेटजी क्यों ये सब पूछते हो
do a little bit more.
ठीक है भाई लेकिन स्क्रीन टाइम देने के लिए सही चीज है को मतलब मेरे हिसाब से सभी को टाइम देना जरूरी है स्क्रीन टाइम इज मच इम्पोर्टेंट
Hopefully they can keep this one going because they've started off well. It's just a question of keeping that momentum.
I think for Doc to admit wrongdoing is a pretty huge marker in the APG timeline. That doesn't happen very often, if at all, in fact. So, great news for APG. And again, I think it comes back to what we were talking about in the Gauntlet. It felt much more like 4 very, very good players playing separately as opposed to 4 insane players playing together. So hopefully we'll see more of that here. I think that Gauntlet was always meant to be a bit of an ego check anyway. And I think that, if anything, this is very useful to APG going forward.
अभी तक तो कोई स्टार्ट नहीं हुई कोई फाइट आई अभी Wolf versus
on a global stage is going to be useful to them because I think they're so used to just dominating in their own region that this is a good place to re-humble themselves.
Okay.
Gen G around the corner, trying to find the best place to take the fight. You can see Batten off in the distance.
एक knock है.
Too slow. The join, the opener as Coops goes down.
दोनों का एक knock finish.
Finally,
दो knock finish.
to stand up, find an off angle. Actually gets a flush in response. An answer is found, but they are clashing themselves with the Falcons. Moving over from that east side
एक
to
HP.
the foothills of Everest. They're taking those shots up. And it is mucky at the foothills of Everest on this northwest side circle. Seems to have calmed down slightly on the inside of this compound, though. I think Igor just wants to get out of here as safely as possible.
और क्या लेट था ये
Slams a reverse and an aid underneath him. Quick, able Detonate him from underneath. Sends him sky high, and that should be another flash coming through. Wolves most likely down to 2.
I think Wolves are struggling in a big way.
नहीं बचेगा वो.
For them, this
Solo survivor है अभी ये. नहीं duo है.
Stacked in terms of players right now. John.
Solo नहीं duo है.
I think
Wolves के 2 players बचे हैं सिर्फ अभी.
They were sort of scraping by towards that top 7. It's not the case here. They need to put a little bit more work in. I think it's the most unfortunate thing for Wolves right now is I think they're struggling to win the 4v4s. And that is very, very unhelpful towards your end of scoring, because I think if you want to start earning those big points, you need to be able to win 1 or 2 4v4s during the match.
Correct.
The most crucial one being that 10 to 15 minutes fight to get you into a stronger position in that late game.
Okay, we thought it was character, but maybe not. He's just taken a knock to himself, crashed into a buggy. I imagine he got a
एक अच्छा grenade है ना guys, game खत्म कर देगा.
Damage that was from slamming into that rock. The buggy rolling back in a circle. Want to try and do it again. Take down APG, but hang on a minute, who's that? Get out of there, Jafar. GS trying to rally on APG. They've already closed ranks. There's no way that he's getting away with that one. GS maybe want to continue this against Inner Circle, but they've actually found the opener to IQ.
Jafar was like some kind of tourist in that situation. Like, wait, sorry, I didn't mean to be here. I apologize. But yeah, big shift on the circle. They're down towards that south side.
क्या करने गया था भाई? बीच में से 2 स्क्वाड के बीच में से जा रहा है.
Reject. 2 players from Wolves, I guess, but Tiamba currently taking a lot of damage. Goodness me, Bond, you are lucky on that.
अरे भाई, कितना instant wipe करती है भाई ये.
Across the way. And he goes down shortly.
बहुत ज़्यादा ही instant wipe किया है guys.
It's not been great for Tiamba, honestly.
ज़्यादा ही instant. पता भी नहीं चला इतना instant wipe किया उन्होंने.
Really important position and stay alive as 4 blank. That's a really big boon for them. The question is, can they hold it? Because right now they're fairly split. They're 3 and 1. And the Falcons, they're already poking their noses in.
Sprays तोड़ गए भाई.
Looking to try and scout, and somehow he's evading all of those spray downs. The vehicle is beaten. A lot of damage on that one, so you imagine the bonnet is smoking.
Baronik not able to quite hit those shots. I mean, for Falcon starting at Pmgc is actually a really good result for them, especially with the circle the way it was. I think they were sort of worried about this one heading towards that north side, in which case that would have been a difficult rotate. But heading just over towards the west of them here, it's a nice, easy, clean rotate over towards that western side, out looking on the fields.
OG का है अपनी. OG पे तो जोन है ना, तो मे भी शायद वो जोन के अंदर ही बैठे होंगे.
Maybe looking for a wide wrap, or are they going to try and send through Osaka? I'm not too sure what 9Z's plan here is. I mean, APG, they're looking to cut across and go back the way that 9Z just came from.
It's not easy. You got IC behind you as well.
APG का confidence full next level हो चुका है पता है अभी पहले मैच के बाद.
9Z as well in front. I think at this point in time, this is not a terrible decision coming through from APG just to kind of take a pit stop here, rest and wait it out. It's almost hilarious how open
APG full मतलब ऐसे खेल रही है ना कि नॉर्मल है भाई, कुछ नहीं है, तो फुल ऐसे मार के खेल रही है, उनको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है अगर हारी भी तो. समझ रहे हो?
Instead, they're going to try and go over Rosok Bridge, make it work that way. Everyone's got the same idea, though.
It is going to be a tough approach from that northeast side. I mean, 9Z, they went back across the river, moving now past school. You can see them trying to find their way in. Stage 2, still survivable as the circle. Stage 3 hurts a little bit more. It's a hard west shift. Blank, this is good for Team Secret out on that west edge. You've got Gen G as well in that central area. Loops a really good time getting to a very important compound set if they can move fast enough.
For Team Secret, I would say for Team Secret, the options are a little bit limited, honestly. For them, they have to move through a lot of open ground, and most of the most prominent positions are already picked up. The D plus, they sort of go for something that I wanted APG to go for, which is one of those free compounds on that north side. No one's really playing around that area, so it's a ton of really useful ground to hold.
ये वाला तो ओजी का एक प्लेयर की एचपी इतने कम कैसे हो गई? लड़ाई हो रही है क्या उनकी? मैप दिखाओ ना एक बार। मैप दिखाएंगे थोड़ा आइडिया आ जाएगा हमें भी।
GS as well. Everybody looking to just find anything that can keep them safe in this next zone. Where the best place to do that is.
I mean, for GS, this is like one of the few options left remaining. Is the Wizard Tower on the southwest side. It is not going to help them.
Oh, क्या गिरा है भाई?
Will pick out Doc from the vehicle. Was straggling slightly behind the rest.
अच्छा, OG ने इनके राइट वाला कंपाउंड ही होल्ड किया गाइस.
But for APG getting towards Chopsticks as a 3-man from the position they were in, this is not a terrible result for them. I think they would have much rather have made it as a 4 because holding this is a little bit difficult when you start to lose members. But again, this is the type of position that could keep you alive for quite a while.
I think with GOAT in the position that they are, just out to the northeast of that chopstick, they do have a lot of control over the ridge line that sits to the north of that chopstick bunker, which is the major danger for teams holding in that area, right? But if you've got a team playing in the position that GOAT is, that ridge line to the north becomes very, very tricky to play. It's in later circles where it starts to come back to bite you, but APG have at least 3 circles left in that spot, I think fairly securely, unless there's a mad crash onto their position. 9Z, they move down all the way. They've gone for a wide swing on the south of the circle, Blank. They've moved from that northeast side near Yasna.
Okay.
We saw them going back and forth with APG, and now they're on the southwest of the entire thing. They're going to be entering from that west edge.
और क्या मारा इसने?
Yeah, I don't think I'm a huge fan of this play. It looks funky, it looks flashy, but I don't think it's
उसने भी भगा दिया उसको.
useful to them because I don't know what their game plan is over the next. If that makes sense. Like, where do they go from here? You want to wrap through the
OG पे जोन है, काश की ये वाला जोन OG पे बन गया ना, चिकन हो जाएगा. नहीं. अब आरू भाई साहब फंस चुके हैं. अब क्या करेंगे आरू?
Gotta get there first. Surely Alter Ego make it to that compound before 9Z, with GS hounding them a little bit as well.
अब क्या करेंगे आरू भाई?
It looks like they're turning around, maybe? That's a bit of confusion for 9Z. I think that's safe to say from everything we've seen from them so far. They don't really know.
क्या करेंगे?
Take from the Falcons. Okay, sending it straight into the open.
Nice.
Everybody in the open Gakka field. And Redox is the punishment. But they will be spotted, sprayed down. But the rest of them, are they? No way. 3 of them make it to across the way, and Loops not going to hold them on the
सीधा गटका में आके रश किया.
And with 3 players, they can play this split. They can play this north side, not safely, but a little bit more safely than going in a mad dash out the open with 7 teams looking your way.
It is so amusing me right now that South Everest compound's still not taken. I think the assumption from all teams that this is absolutely got players in it. But literally everyone on that north side made the wrap through Rozok, which is very confusing to me.
उन्हें औरंगेटन को पड़ गई. आतंकी नॉक है. फिनिश हो गया रोजमेरी के हाथ से.
Wrapping back towards the west.
हे भगवान.
I know it's already very clogged. There's only limited positions on that side. There was several positions on the north that were still free and available to play.
OG ने भी यहाँ पे ले लिया.
Try and look if that's taken or not. Papra Supermassive looks like they're just going to hit the west side. They also think it's taken. It's so funny that no one knows this is free.
It is absolutely crazy, right? OG as well. They moved in from that northeast side. They actually decided to crash onto this compound instead of going further and going to this next one. The fact that the last player from Wolves might be the only one in that compound is going to get a little bit crazy because he's the Doran is a little bit closer. They lost a player on the approach. That was to Rosemary on the off angle. No, maybe GS are going to be able to take it.
Okay.
Into the tree.
भाई साहब.
They're going to go across the road though. You just don't think they're going to do it.
No, I think
एक के नॉक निकाला. आइकॉन. फिनिश कर. छोड़. नहीं मिल गया. किल मिल गया. किल मिल गया गाइस. एक को किल मिल गया.
There is no one there. This is classic international lobby of assumption that everyone else is good, right? And everyone else is probably taking the strong spots. You know, this would happen in, you know, tier 3 tournaments, just because people would crash that spot. And there'd be no one in it, and they'd be fine.
I think Alter Ego are going to figure it out sooner or later. OG having a little bit of back and forth with D+ right now. There is a lot of knocks on side, and it's all up to
Chal, Clips.
In a 1v1 against
Clips versus
D+'s players start to fall. The nade doesn't connect.
Knamat. Rosemary ने मजे ले लिए भाई.
Rosemary who's able to shut down that fight, and now Alter Ego, they're taking this east compound.
Third पे.
All right, they want the elims, I guess.
Alter Ego's going to clear everything before they clear the west.
Third पे.
And to be fair, this actually does become quite a strong position. If they can grab this, I think they prefer to have it over.
अच्छा था but अच्छा खेले. Well played. 2 point मिला. 3 point मिले.
But yeah, for Alter Ego, good scouting. I mean, they remained proactive that entire time. They didn't just sit over towards Everest. They were consistently sending scouts out in vehicles. Team Secret takes a hell of a nade from 9Z.
Naded from
क्या नेड है भाई ये? एक और फिक्स सेव नेड.
Does the damage, doesn't stop the revive there, and it does manage to get Team Secret back up to 4. The heals need to come through, and Reject want to move. The zone is because they know they're fast enough, so they'll try and get out of there instead. Team Secret maybe more preoccupied to the north and fold back towards Regi, back around him with the covering fire, but they still have to move. They still have to get going, and there really isn't too many options now.
I really
इसी पे स्लैम ही डालना पड़ेगा.
Because it's basically Alter Ego and IC were in. Finally, 9Z making the move, and they're like, wait, there's no one here? What? But yeah, so they'll pick up Northwest. Oh yeah, I mean, IC don't quite get that luxury, but I think they're happy just to pick up points on the outside as teams attempt to make their way in. Nades pouring down, and Divine walks straight into one.
भाई कोर्ट ने अपने प्लेयरों के लिए जगह बना रहा है.
Coming through for Reject. They are in the zone. The goats are pushing in, and there's the nade to find the flush over towards Divine. Sarah also gets spotted. That's Loops chiming in as well. They want a piece of the pie. Taking shots, getting nades in. Goat want a point. They want to add it to the tally. A scrap on the northwest side. Finally, more than one team's going in. It's Team Secret who are going to clash on that northwest compound.
Okay, free kill. भाई गोल्ड भी अच्छा खेलती है यार वो.
In the meantime, still playing 2-2 split at the moment. It looks like Krypton and Rosemary on the north side, up towards Everest still.
I mean, Alter Ego have a lovely split right now. I actually really enjoy this one. They know the amount of area is clear in this position, so they set up this line where they're still taking advantage of the high ground up towards Everest whilst they have a safety anchor on the eastern side. I think this is really smart. A lot of times players who take that position on the eastern side,
गटका वाले जो kills उठा रहे हैं ना guys.
and then the game gets away from you because you don't get enough done. So it's going to come your way, and it's a free win for back.
Shit.
APG though, big push over towards IC.
Oh.
It's not happening though.
Oh, very close to getting a knock there. Need to stay alive. Falak hits the deck. Nades are going to start to come on through, but APG's already gone. These reses need to be fast. IQ wants to get back to his feet, get that healing on, because from the south side you've got Loops to worry about. And you can imagine they've heard this fight. They know that there is a team there, and maybe they're a little bit weak. They've seen the knocks on the feed. NZ unlikely to push south. But I think there might just be enough. It's Alter Ego, though, who chime in. I think that's 2 knocks down there now. IQ not back up, which means that outpost is completely down. Only 2
Nice.
And Loops are going to start to put their tendrils over.
Another good shot. That's from Alter Ego once again.
कनेक्ट वहीं पर ही है जहाँ पे उसने जस्ट बोला वहीं बंदा है. Exact वहीं बंदा है.
And look at this. This is just such well set up from Alter Ego. I think this is a textbook game from AE over towards this eastern side of the map. I've seen a lot of times that this circle actually moves towards this compound and teams get to take full advantage of it. But most teams, like I said, would just play the 2-2 split inside these buildings. I've loved the way this game is played out from Alter Ego. I think they absolutely do deserve the win off this. We'll see if they can close it out. But up until this point, it has been fantastically played.
Nice. Rosemary.
Towards Nico, and he's going to be able to land it. Sure, flashy might not be all substance, but it certainly looks good on camera. And now it's in a circle, moving on in. I think it's just Balak with a nade cooking, trying to move past, crawling through the smokes, playing hide and seek. Drops a nade underwards one of them. That's on the flank.
भाई फलक अकेला मार देगा चल फलक कम ऑन 1v1
but he's playing like he's got a full bar right now. Ratto Boy has got
last one
but there's a reason that Falak is praised like he is.
भाई 1 HP में बंदे ने भाई गाँव फाड़ दी थी इन लोग की
It's now down to 9Z as well as Alter Ego in this end game, but goodness me,
क्या खेला भाई क्या खेला
really the main character of the lobby at the moment.
गलत ही खेला भाई लॉन्डन ने
Wow. He is looking so hot right now. Taking down almost the entirety of loops with a chance and with like no HP as well from the beginning of that 1v4. Those were like 15 HP.
Yeah, those were
9v इस बार चोक नहीं करेगी भाई इस बार निकाल लेगी शायद
Balak. Yeah, very well done. Fortunately, Alter Ego will take a knock there.
9v इस बार चोक नहीं करेगी गाइस इस बार चिकन निकालेगी
At this point in time, this is where you start to fold back slightly. Alter consistently.
नहीं करेगी बिल्कुल चोक नहीं करेगी इस बार
You've lost a player in your back line. That's what you do. Backstop anchors. Now life gets a little bit more difficult for you. With 19 and 4 players, it's a bit of a big deal. You have to now hope the circle moves away.
रोजमेरी के साथ खेला भाई सोलो के
You can take advantage of the buildings.
रोजमेरी ये सब तो भाई पूरा नेचुरल गेम खेल रहे हैं भाई अब तक बाकी टीम्स के लिए कैसा है ना थोड़ा सा हार्ड है बट ये रोजमेरी ये सब इनके लिए ये नेचुरल गेम्स जैसा हो गया तब जाके वो इतना मतलब प्यारा डोमिनेशन हमको दिखा रहे हैं
There definitely was a mistake there coming through from Alter Egos. I think that they should have started to fold back a lot earlier. And again, still take these
Cool good.
Quite. It's a little bit uninformed of where the circle is at this point in time. For Alter Ego, like, look at this. They could have come back here, been as a 4-man, and just played out this game. They don't need more eliminations at this point. You can just let the game play out slowly. You know there's a 4-man squad on your north side. That's your main prerogative now.
भाई मारी दिया भाई
Just as he pops the reload,
क्या मारा भाई गलती
teams now remain. Everybody's going to know where this last play from Luke. He's got to crawl forwards. Going to have to wait for 9Z to make that first move, but has got some rock cover and might actually be able to get decently closer to this compound.
9v का ये चिकन भी हो सकता है या फिर AE का भी हो सकता है AE का इसलिए हो सकता है क्योंकि AE के पास प्रॉपर जोन होल्डिंग है
As they push through, the smoke train looks pretty good so far and super necessary for them. I appreciate they.
अगर इन्होंने चलती हुई गाड़ी से गिरा दी है तो इन्हीं का गेम है अगर एक भी नॉक नहीं निकाल पाए तब हक दे
Ratto Boy could actually have an impact on as well. The approach here, he's going to see them. He's going to see all of this unfolding. As soon as they start to go for the fight, he's just going to hope that they don't look out his way. He's taking this opportunity to move up to the next rock. Has to go further though. That's not in the zone. Needs to step further forwards than this. And that is where it's going to be.
देख लिया बट उसको कोल गेट ने कोल गोट ने देख लिया बट उसको
Couple more seconds to play around with. Alter Ego making moves in the meantime. Might draw the 9Z attention.
I'd be very interested to see the end game like travel diagram for 9Z because they've been all over the place. But it's been a pretty damn good game for them so far, honestly.
रोजमेरी ने अगर ये एंगल से इसको देख लिया
The main thing that's impressive here in this game is just the smoke usage. And very quickly set up. As soon as they hit this building as well, there's smokes laid.
देख लेगा मुझे लगा ही था देख लेगा मुझे लगा ही था देख लेगा भाई मुझे लगा ही था देख लेगा
Back off, and it's not the players he was looking for.
He's got 3 nades in that position for Rosemary. Needs to heal though. 9Z. He's going to be able to flex out just yet.
एक खतरनाक ग्रेनेड स्नेक का गेम खत्म अरे
started. Back towards the further high ground, get that crate as well. Might be dangerous. Snake though stepping forwards.
सामने 3 बंदा है, इन्होंने राइट से एंगल बना के रश कर देना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से तो।
Damage so far.
एक बंदे के एडीएस पे।
Sides. Rosemary is a key figure in this end game. Up to 8 elims so far this game, doing a fantastic job, and it's a singular corridor almost in terms of the.
एक अच्छा दरवाजे पे नेट डाल दिया ना तो फटेंगे।
Alter Ego, they got 6 nades. They do need to be on target here.
और
They are close enough for them.
क्या पटा था भाई ये नेट?
Just a bit short on the health. Does get on target, but has to back off, and that's going to allow Snake to go for the heal here. 4 nades remain. Alva moving up. They're putting a lot of pressure forwards on this one, with Rosemary on the outside. 9Z, I think you go up north, go around the edge of that building, try and sweep the compound through.
कौन जीतेगा भाई? इसे तो कुछ ज़्यादा इंटेंस हो गया है।
Isolating up onto the rooftops now, playing further back. As Alva looks to hold. 9Z are moving up to that north side and into the buildings.
इसके पास एमजी है।
It's into the middle that it will fall. And that's on the outside, down the ridge in the open ground.
Yeah, Rosemary double back. There's not a lot of nades left available now for Alter Ego. And he really did need them in these last moments. And now it comes down to gun skill. Colego finding Rosemary, which was the backstop, which leads us into a 2v4. A very unlikely win coming now through from Alter Ego.
They got so much done, but it's 9Z who are able to move on through. Snake nade, and it's all up to Alva. A 1v4, and there's not a chance he shuts that one down.
भाई क्या ग्रेनेड था ये?
Chicken dinner there. It looked wild,
Well
looked
played.
chaotic at the start of that match for them. Like they had a really strange approach to the circle.
ये सीन देखा आप लोगों ने? फिर से देखो।
And now it comes down to gun skill. Colego finding Rosemary, which was the backstop, which leads us into
एक नॉक दिया है, ठीक है? रोजमेरी को नॉक दिया है।
likely win coming now through from Alter
एक और
Ego.
नॉक हुआ नेट से।
They got
तो एक ही बचा है ये।
but it's 9Z who are able to move on through. Snake
इसके मुंह पे भी एक लीड है।
to Alva.
गेम खत्म।
1v4, and there's not a chance he shuts that one
Wow.
down.
Played it. But for 9C, yeah, I mean,
Well,
very cool rotates.
9 kills,
There's a
chicken
little
dinner.
bit of confusion towards that mid game though.
So it was a 9 kills chicken dinner. Well played. So thank you guys for watching the entire stream. मुझे पता है ये स्ट्रीम मैं बहुत जल्दी बंद कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुझे कुछ काम से बाहर जाना है. So take care, love you all, bye bye. मिलते हैं, बाकी मैं 2 मैचेस देख लूँगा बट अभी कल से अपन प्रॉपर स्ट्रीम करेंगे इसकी, ठीक है? आज नहीं, आज मेरे को थोड़ा काम है, इसकी वजह से मुझे जाना पड़ रहा है. तो बाय बाय, लव यू.